$1,000. Best part, the money will be in our bank account tomorrow.
Wow.
And good morning and welcome to the video live stream of the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg and my guest this morning is Lisa Cripps-Downey, the
Good
president.
morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you? It is so early.
I ask a lot of people who come into the studios, are you a morning person?
I am.
You are? Good.
I am a morning person.
You seem like a morning person.
You know, like out and like here I am.
Oh, like interacting with
and,
people.
Yeah. I'm usually interacting with my dogs right about now.
Oh,
So
what kind of dogs do you have?
I have one Humane Society family member who, I have Dragon and Donkey.
Dragon
Yes.
and Donkey. I love those names.
Shrek. My kids were in Shrek at the time and they wanted a dog and the dog's named Dragon. And then if you have a dog named Dragon, then your other dog
has to be Donkey. Obviously.
What else would you call your other dog? That's just
They're not
silly.
green, are they?
They are not green.
Oh, good.
They are not green.
Okay.
But
I'm going to write this down. Dragon
and Donkey.
And Donkey.
Yes, Donkey. People know Donkey. He's he hangs out at the office.
Oh, really?
Yes, people. I truly, I think people come to the office every once in a while just to visit with Donkey.
I want to bring my dog into the office.
I
when I first joined WSJM and the Midwest family, we got to get back on the air for the news here. But when I first joined here, I said, Dave, I should bring my dog in, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He said, no.
Oh,
I know.
Well, come on,
we'll try
Dave.
again. Maybe we try again.
We'll try again.
Yeah.
Come on, Dave.
All right. Lisa Cripps-Downey is here. She's here for the hour. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. It's coming up in just a moment right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got local news next. Good morning and welcome again to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7:05. It's the 19th of December. Man, are you ready for the holidays yet?
I'm getting very, very close.
Does it bring you as much anxiety as it does me? I start feeling anxiety in July.
Do you really?
Well, because I want to.
That's way too early.
Because I want to get the right thing. I want to make sure it's the right thing. I want to make sure,
right.
All that stuff.
Yeah, I get that. But I don't get anxiety about it. I don't. And I also, I can't cook. I have everybody, if people come to my house, they, for the holidays. And I know there are people who get really anxiety about that.
Yeah.
I've just accepted that about myself.
I like that.
And so, there's people in the office, sometimes they're talking about what am I going to make or what I'm going to, and I know it's going to be pretty not awesome, and I'm good with that.
And it's not going to,
but we'll have a great time.
Yeah, you can have a great time.
All kinds of things.
There's not going to be like a black hole that all of a sudden sucks the planet up if you don't get the meal right.
Right.
You're right. I like your attitude.
So I just kind of go with it.
We are talking with Lisa Cripps-Downey. She's the president of the Berrien Community Foundation, has graciously accepted our invitation to come in and talk in the studio for an hour. We're going to talk all about Dragon and Donkey.
Yes.
The whole hour.
The whole hour.
No, those are the names of her dogs. So if you're on the video live stream, you already know that those are the names of her dogs. We're going to talk about Berrien Community Foundation. So we'll start that interview in just a couple of minutes. We have to get through some weather and news, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
And we'll start that right now. So the temperature outside in Benton Harbor is 30 degrees. It's 30 in St. Joseph, 29 degrees in South Haven. Down in Buchanan right now, we're looking at 29 degrees. Same in Dowagiac. The forecast for today does call for cloudy skies, a 20% chance of snow, high around 32 degrees today. South winds light 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, cloudy skies and 80% chance of snow showers. The low overnight is going to be around 28 degrees and south winds 5 to 15, gusts up to 20, and that's going to bring in some snow tomorrow. We've got mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, a 60% chance of snow, mainly in the morning, and then it's going to set up for lake effect snow in the evening. So going into the weekend, you might want to make sure the snow shovel is out and ready to go. High around 32 degrees, north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom this morning. Congress is working to fund the federal government, but efforts to pass even a stopgap spending bill are currently stalled. Lawmakers are facing a Friday deadline to approve new spending. House Republicans were considering funding the government until March 14th, but under pressure from President-elect Trump, that plan is now dead. The concern was for additional spending for disaster aid, healthcare policy extenders, and even a pay raise for members of Congress was included in that stopgap spending bill, so it started getting a lot of criticism. Area Congressman Bill Huizenga was among those with concerns about the bill. He posted on social media saying, although it's almost Christmas, the proposed Christmas tree CR loaded with pork should not be passed, and he'll be voting no. That's what he said. The current funding for the federal government runs out tomorrow. If Congress doesn't pass a bill by the deadline, federal government agencies begin the process of limiting services and furloughing non-essential employees. So we'll keep you up to date on what they figure out. So far, no plan on the table. We'll see what Congress does. They've done this before.
They've done it before.
They can do it again. And honestly, keeping them here until and through the holiday, if they need to, that would be suitable. That'd be fine. Let's make them work.
I guess that's fair.
All right. We'll talk more about that in a sec. Also, other news that we're following, there's a new hotel being planned in Benton Township. The Benton Township Board of Trustees heard this week that a 102-room home-to-suites hotel is set to be built at 1923 Pipestone Road, right next to the Home Depot and just south of the Hampton Inn that's already there. Township building official Lowell Bennett told us that trustees of the Benton Township Planning Commission have signed off on the site plan.
With the added tourism in the area, we think it's a good addition to the area. All of the recommendations and conditions we put on have been met, with the exception of fire access around the entire building.
Bennett said the fire chief and planning commission have talked with the developer about addressing that issue.
We need to ensure that we can get access around this entire property in case we have an emergent situation and we need to get people off the top floor.
The fire chief is seeking a road or other paved surface to ensure fire trucks can get to all parts of the building. Developer Sam Patel, who was at the meeting, agreed. The Planning Commission did request the developer consider establishing access to the property from Napier Avenue. Bennett told us that would mean reopening Crystal Avenue from Napier to the Home Depot, which has long been closed. The Township Board on Tuesday approved the site plan. The hotel, when finished, will be part of the Hilton brand of hotels. And the Benton Harbor boys basketball home game scheduled for tonight against Brandywine will take place, but it won't be at the Benton Harbor High School. It will be at Our Lady of the Lake due to some water issues in the gymnasium. Benton Harbor's athletic director, Danny Jennings, tells us that the pipe has burst, causing a water leak, and it's affected the new gymnasium flooring.
We had some water damage from a pipe leakage on Friday, and Third Pro has been graciously giving us their services and trying to restore everything. And they have us staying off the court right now until Monday.
Despite the venue change, Jennings says that the gym will be ready for the Tigers' upcoming Earl McKee basketball tournament that happens next week. WSJM will provide coverage of tonight's game. It'll happen at Our Lady of the Lake starting at 7 p.m. And finally, Lake Michigan College has announced the recipients of its 2024 Alumni Awards. WSJM's Andrew Green has this report.
3 awards are given out each year. The Alumni Achievement Awards presented to a graduate who attended LMC in the last 15 years and demonstrated significant achievement in their career, education, or community. This year, the award went to Matthew Capps, a 2010 graduate of the LMC nursing program. He now serves as the supervising clinical coordinator at Holland Hospital. The Gladys Peoples Burks Alumni Service Award recognizes grads who have made a personal or professional contribution to the college or the broader community. It's gone to the Reverend William Whitfield from the LMC class of 1974. He's a pastor and volunteer for the local housing commission and youth mentor. Finally, the Clarence Beckworth Distinguished Service Award is given to a recent graduate who's accomplished success in their personal or professional endeavors. The recipient this year is Dr. Sue Balms from the class of 1991. She's done work in higher education, having a global impact, especially with her work in Sierra Leone. Andrew Green, WSJM News.
And that's a look at some of the local news that we're covering today from the WSJM newsroom. There's more to talk about and a whole lot more to talk about this hour with our special guest in studio. We have Lisa Cripps-Downey. She's the president of the Berrien Community Foundation. And so we're going to start that interview on the video live stream here in just a moment. We're also going to hear in just a moment an interview about always learning with Berrien Recess. So you'll hear that here on the radio. And we'll have the video live stream going with our interview with Lisa Cripps-Downey. But why don't we start that right now? If you wouldn't mind, just give people who may not know you, who is Lisa Cripps-Downey? What's your background? Where are you from? What are you doing?
Okay. So
just a broad topic there. I'll throw it on the table there. Good morning.
Well, good morning. So I'm president of the Berrien Community Foundation, which is super fun. I have the best job that ever jobbed.
Really?
Really? Yes. It's great. Well, think about, so the Berrien Community Foundation, what we do is there's needs in the community and there are resources in the community, and our job is to help those things meet.
Yeah.
And so I get to work with a lot of people in our community who are doing amazing things to try and help people. I mean, what's better than that?
Nothing. That's
so
great.
It's on both sides. We've got such incredible nonprofit organizations, and we get to try and help them do the great work that they do.
Yeah.
And then there are these donors who they're looking for ways to, how do I use my resources to help, to make your life better, to make people's lives better? And they all have great ideas and they're creative, and I get to try and help those things come together.
Yeah.
And so really,
you do have the best job in the community.
Have the best job in the world. Yeah.
Because so often, I mean, you probably think about it, or at least the way I think about it is, think globally, act locally. Okay, I want to act locally. I don't know how, but you've got ways.
And a lot of times I'll get somebody who they have something on their heart. I really want to help with kids. I want to help with the environment. I want to help. Who's doing that? How do I connect them? What can I do? What creative thing can I do? And then the other part of our job is there is a gap in the community. Hey, we really see a need for something. It's our job to try and step in there and make that happen. Yeah. And so I get to be a part of those solutions and working with so many dynamic, energetic people who are doing great things.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love
isn't
that.
It cool?
That is cool.
Come play anytime. That's and it's, when you think a community foundation, it is the community's foundation. So I think sometimes there's a thought that, well, I can't be part of this if I don't have millions of dollars. And that's absolutely, it is the community's foundation. Yeah. We need volunteers for all kinds of things. And it takes every single one of us doing a little bit to make our community better. And so everybody gets to be a part of it.
I love that. We're going to talk more about the Berrien Community Foundation with Lisa Cripps-Downey. She's the president of that organization. I mean, to me, as I mentioned to you when you came in here this morning, your name and Berrien Community Foundation, household terms. We talk about you in the news a lot. I mean, we do because you're doing a lot of good things. And so we want to learn about those things. We want to learn about where you're going in 2025. We also want to hear about some of the challenges. I mean, we've heard a lot of different nonprofit organizations have faced challenges over the last couple of years, part because of COVID, part because of the economy, part because of uncertainty, all that stuff. So we just want to let's talk it through and just understand what it is that we're dealing with and where we're headed.
It sounds great.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. We'll start that interview here in just a moment, right on the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Lisa Cripps-Downey is here. We're going to do that interview. We're going to start it right now on the video live stream on Facebook and YouTube. And so you can catch that. You can also, if you miss any part of the interview, go back to our Facebook or YouTube and look at the video archives. Right now, sports with Dave Wolf.
Very many buttons.
What? Oh yeah, there are a lot of buttons, and they simplified it for me. Oh. So these cameras are new. The white rotating one, and then the black one that stares at me all the time. And so I used to have to push at least, I think I counted 17 buttons, and now I just push 4 buttons. So now I feel much better because they've reduced my work. I was getting paid by the button, Lisa, so it was okay.
Then it's all right.
It's all right.
I mean, you've got 17 buttons and 3 mice.
Oh, I've got 4. I have 4 mice. Yeah.
Because
don't forget this one.
That little guy. Yeah. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. And I used to have 5 computers. Now I only have 4.
Goodness.
So it's kind of cool.
That is, did you start in radio? Did you always, or is this like,
I did start in this? I kind of started in radio. Come up closer to the microphone or pull it if you're there you go.
There it is. Oh, that's really close. Okay.
So since you asked me my background, I'll give you a little background and then I'll ask you the same.
Okay.
So I started in radio when I was in high school. Right. I was living in a town of 3,500 people. They had one radio station that gave farm reports and polka music. I didn't work at that radio station. I worked at the one that opened after them, which was playing contemporary music, basically rock and roll.
So no polka?
I didn't do the polka.
I'm sorry.
I like polka now. I will watch Lawrence Welk. I love it.
That's a news bit. Somebody should do something. There should be a Christmas ornament. There should be something about Lawrence Welk or polka.
It's fun stuff. But worked at a radio station. I did the weather. I started doing some news. One thing led to another. I went from a town so I was raised in Washington State, Quincy, Washington, to Wenatchee, Washington, to Seattle, Washington, then to Washington, D.C., and then here.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I've been around a little bit, but I chose here because it's beautiful. And it reminds me a lot of the Pacific Northwest, the area that we have, the lake that we have. It's not the ocean, but it's huge. So it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love the lake effect snow.
So do I.
Yeah.
I love snow. People go, "Oh no, snow!"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Yay, snow! Look it's beautiful."
Yeah, nothing better than snow on Christmas. So, but so tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Lisa Cripps-Downey?
Okay, so I was born and raised here.
Okay,
and went away to school, got a job, went away, and then came back to work here. I actually came back to work at the South Bend Tribune. So I was a newspaper reporter.
I read something about that. Yes. Fellow journalist.
Okay. Yeah. So worked in the area as a journalist, and then went into marketing and communications. And from there, actually got hired by the Berrien Community Foundation, but as the program person. So I did the grants and the scholarships, and then I went away and had a couple kids and came back here. But in between that, I worked with both the Frederick S. Upton Foundation and United Way, and then came back here as president of the Community Foundation. So it kind of a nice path that led me to where I am, and to being able to learn about my community and be part of it. Because really, journalists think of you, right? You're in the community. You're reporting on the things of the community, and you're a part of it. And so that was really just a passion all the time.
That's one of the things I love about journalism is it gives you a window into things you wouldn't normally know about. And it gives you an opportunity to ask the questions that are on the minds of people in the community. Like, why this? Why that? Tell me more about this and that and the other. What did you cover when you were at the South Bend Tribune?
Everything in this area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was so it was anything that happened, just go for it. Yeah. And it really got you. The thing about journalists is there is no question that you are afraid to ask in front of anyone.
Yeah.
By the time you've done this for a year, you're like, well, this is what I'm asking. So if you have a question, even if this might be a stupid question, but if it's in my head, the odds are somebody else is thinking, well, I wish I knew that.
Exactly right.
So I'm not afraid to ask anything and to educate myself about, I've got to understand this so that I can explain it to somebody else.
Are you surprised and I'm sorry to go off on a track here, but are you surprised at how different journalism is and the distribution of news is over the last decade, over the last couple of decades?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's changed so much.
And I'm not sure it's awesome for all of us, because I think now, especially so many people, if you get your news just by social media.
Oh boy.
Well, then you have an algorithm that feeds you the same kind of news, rather than something. I need things to challenge me and inform me. And I think it's important to ask questions and to get outside of here's my bubble and to make sure you're understanding the way other people think.
Yes. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you think about the problems with the algorithms of, okay, we know what this person likes, so we're just going to keep feeding that to them, like you said. The other problem is I understand that the revenue models have to change and they have to adapt, but I think newspapers got it wrong when they put up the walls. Because the paywalls, I understand, okay, you're going to pay for this content just like you pay for a newspaper. Yes, that's true. However, if you're blocking somebody who will never pay for news from getting news from like the Washington Post or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, then you're directing them to other places where it's free. And that free, you get what you pay for, right? So you don't know everything that you're getting. I used when Twitter first came out, I thought it was amazing because it was like my own customizable AP news feed.
Yeah.
I could go to different reporters that I like their writing and say, okay, I'm going to follow your updates. And today, I mean, it still works pretty well that way, but other stuff gets fed into the algorithm that's just like, what in the world are they talking about?
You can get some pretty crazy, you can go down some pretty crazy rabbit holes.
Right.
and pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and then once you start down that rabbit hole, it says, oh, you like this rabbit hole? Let me show you another one. So it can be, you can spend too much time scrolling, doom scrolling, happy scrolling, just those reels, the video reels.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can lose yourself.
I like what you said about the challenging as well. And every night before I go to bed, I check a couple of my news sources.
That is not good for you.
I know. I'm sorry.
That is not good for you. That is not a good way to
I also
get to
drink
sleep.
espresso before I go to bed.
Also not good for you. But okay, we've got a pattern.
But last night, something that challenged me was, and I haven't pulled up the article yet for discussion here, is scientists have discovered a third type of magnetism.
What?
I don't know.
What
a
does
third
that
type.
mean? What
I
does
don't
that
know.
even
It's like a third type of magnet, and they're playing around with it, and it supposedly is more accurate of something else. I don't know. But when they start messing with magnets, gravitational pull and that kind of thing, I get a little concerned. But it is interesting. Science is interesting.
Science is very, very interesting. I just want to know what the magnet pulls.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it's
like
usually
cows
north.
Or I mean.
Did you say cows?
Yes.
The cow magnet. They have cow magnets.
Do they?
Well, I think I don't know exactly what it's for, but anyway.
I don't know. Okay.
Anyway,
right.
We digress.
Yes, we do.
This is going to be good. So you got in. So you were in journalism, and then you started working for NGOs, nonprofit organizations. Would you say?
No, I started working for marketing communications.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I missed that part.
I went into that strategic planning.
Okay.
I really got into strategic planning, and from there was hired as the program officer at the Berrien Community Foundation. Okay. And I got that call just from being involved in my community. And hey, isn't this something that makes sense for you? And it really was. I got to work for the Community Foundation for several years. And I got to learn that part where you're giving out grants and giving out scholarships and how are we doing that? And that was, when you find the thing that you're like, this is it. I found the career path. This is the one I love. And that's what I found.
Okay. And so for people who they hear grant, they see money, if you're applying for a grant, if you're thinking, okay, could our organization be qualified for a grant, or if you're looking at scholarships, what do you want people to be thinking about? What do you want people to know when they start thinking about that?
I'm going to for grants. I'm going to quote our program director, who is Susan Matheny, and she's amazing. Yes. And she always says, plans get funded. Ideas are great. Ideas are great, but plans are what get funded. So you have to really you have to get from this would be an awesome thing to, okay, what are the specifics of how do I do that?
Yeah.
And who's already doing it? How do I partner? How will it work? Really answer those questions. Yeah. And those are the kinds of things that we're looking at. We're looking at solutions that have been thought out. They don't have to have been tried before.
Right.
Actually, it's kind of, hey, I've got a new approach to something. But so ideas, wonderful. But plans are what get funding.
Okay. I like that. It reminds me of Jeff Bezos and the way he does meetings. Have you read up on him?
I have not.
He asks for a 6-page memo prior to the meeting beginning.
6 pages?
6 pages. And it's a narrative of what it is you're going to discuss, and everything that you think could be part of whatever this proposal is that you're bringing forward. And so what he requires is this 6-page narrative that is brought to the meeting and handed out to every participant at that meeting. Not a pre-read, because he says nobody pre-reads.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
You're given a pre-read, and maybe you skim it. Maybe you go through it meticulously like a lot of people. That's great. Maybe you skim it. Maybe you try to fake it through the meeting.
Right.
He says, nope, people don't have time for that. Bring the 6-page memo to the meeting. Everyone's going to take 30 minutes. We're going to start that meeting for 30 minutes. We're not going to say anything to each other. We're going to read this memo and make our notations in the side. And so instead of getting a presentation of, here's our idea, here's what we're thinking, here's how we're going to do it, because he views that as a marketing thing. Mm-hmm. You're going to read the 6-page memo and then poke holes into it. And the meeting is messy, but then the outcome is much more dynamic, much better. That's what he says.
Well, it's great, and I imagine you can do that if you're Jeff Bezos. Can you imagine calling your staff together and saying, "Hey, if you want to talk to me, please hand me 6 pages."
I can. That'd be amazing. No, I can't.
And
You're right.
everybody would fall right in line.
They'd revolt.
Love that. Yeah.
They'd revolt. Absolutely. Well, you're right. It's Jeff Bezos,
right?
But he's got rocket ships. I mean, he's a guy.
That's legit.
Yeah. Anyway, Berrien Community Foundation. So at some point you decide, all right, I'm gonna stay at home with the kids, raise them, and then I'm gonna come back. How did you make that transition?
So I actually worked from home for a lot. So I created a home office and did a lot. So I worked with the Frederick S. Upton Foundation. Yes. I got to work with the amazing Steve Upton and help with that foundation for several years, and took on things as consulting and other work before coming back full time at the Community Foundation. So I was kind of full time at home, and then I went full time back here.
Okay,
but it was great, the experience that I was having working with the Upton Foundation. I worked with United Way. Those experiences really put me in a position that it was 11 years ago that I came back to the Community Foundation.
Wow.
And got to work with the Community Foundation throughout my time with the Upton Foundation also.
Yeah.
So
I imagine you probably have to talk to a lot of people.
I do.
How does that go?
I like that. I really I like just chatting with people. People stop by our office and they have an idea. They want to talk through something, or they just have a question. I love that our doors are open. People come in and I was having this thought. I'm not going to lie. We bring, I told you the Donkey. Yes. He's I know when you come in and you have a dog treat that you're not necessarily there to see me. However, a lot of people come in and just they want to talk hopes, dreams. What can we do? How can we do things differently? And that's awesome, because maybe I can connect you with somebody else who I talked with who's working through that same issue, or I know that here's an organization who is, if you have a solution, I know the organization who's trying to solve that problem, or we can make that connection.
That's great. I love that. And it's the connections, the networking of people, the understanding what needs are out there, and who has the ability, the capability, the qualifications to fill that. Makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. We'll ask for some stories here in a couple of minutes. We've got to get away for a couple of words here. But if you wouldn't mind sharing some success stories from 2024.
Of course.
Anything and everything we'd love to talk about. If there are current needs out there. I also want to ask you about kind of as I mentioned earlier, the landscape for charities and for nonprofits, and just overall how that community foundation is weathering some of what people are calling a storm out there right now of uncertainty. We'll do that in just a moment. We're talking with Lisa Cripps-Downey. She's the president of the Berrien Community Foundation. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We have news coming up from Bloomberg, our Financial Minute, and ABC World and National News. We'll check in on local news and get our weather, some sports, a whole bunch more right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be back in just a minute. It is the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Sorry, you give me a compliment on all the buttons and switches that I can push effectively, and then I forget to push a couple.
There's a lot of buttons over there. So many computer screens.
It's great, and it gives me that natural glow that I really appreciate from all the radiation here.
How do you even know which computer mouse to grab over there? There's
by feel, and I line them up. This is the order in which they go. This is my personal computer. This is the dad computer. That's the news computer, and that one's the video computer. The video computer mouse, it's usually lonely because I throw it off in the corner because once I touch it, I don't need to touch it again.
Okay. Well,
but
it's nice that he's over there, got to hang out with all the other mice.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7:36. Good morning. Our guest this morning is Lisa Cripps-Downey with the Berrien Community Foundation. She's the president of that organization, and we've learned a bit about her, a bit about the organization. We're going to continue talking about the Berrien Community Foundation here in just a couple of moments. We have to get some news items in. I was just confessing off air that I am a Royal watcher. I watch the Royals. If they're making the news and the tabloids, for some reason, I'm drawn to it.
It came on here, and I was, what did Prince Andrew do now?
And so I looked it up again, and the headline from, let's see, what are we looking at here? This is Fox News is covering it. They say scandal-prone Prince Andrew strikes again.
Well,
you never want that as your headline.
Scandal-prone?
Yeah, scandal-prone Prince Andrew strike. A Chinese businessman has been barred from the UK because of concerns he cultivated links with the disgraced Duke of York in an alleged effort to influence British elites on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. So, there you go. So
that crazy Duke of York.
The fallout is Prince Andrew will not be invited to the public Christmas gatherings of the royals the next week.
I wonder if he did that on purpose. Then.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you might think about it. It's like family,
I
royal. I have to carry my brother's train. No, not going to do it.
Oh, yeah. If I have to carry my brother's train, I'm out.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got world news right now from ABC, and then we'll check what's happening in local news next. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Lisa Cripps-Downey is our guest this hour. She's with the Berrien Community Foundation. We'll continue that interview here in just a couple of moments. Some of the news that we're covering this morning and that we'll be bringing you at 8 o'clock. There was a homicide in Hartford last weekend, and now a suspect is in custody awaiting extradition from Indiana to Van Buren County. Michigan State Police released a statement yesterday confirming troopers are investigating the homicide that occurred this past Saturday just before 7 a.m. in the 66,000 block of 70th Street in Hartford Township. Units were initially dispatched to the venue to investigate a report of shots fired. On arrival, they said they found 35-year-old Waterville man dead of a suspected gunshot wound. The suspect was no longer at the location. The preliminary investigation determined the victim and the suspect, who was a 31-year-old man from South Bend, were in a physical altercation when the suspect shot the victim and then fled the scene. They've since arrested him, and now they are pending extradition and arraignment to bring him back up to Van Buren County. Talk about that story coming up at 8 o'clock. Also, earlier this week, WSJM reported the $20 million EPA grant announced for Benton Harbor. We're now learning more about how the huge sum of money is intended to be used and how it will be managed. The Southwest Michigan Planning Commission playing a big role in that. So we'll talk about that story at 8 o'clock. And also we'll talk about state news. Eric Nesbitt, our state senator for the area, not impressed with how the session is ending. We'll tell you why at 8 o'clock. It's 7:40. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got more coming up in just a moment. Sports from Dave Wolf right after a look at state news.
Get ready for what could be the longest.
Okay, and we're back on the WSJM video live stream for the morning show. 7:40. We'll be back on the radio here in just a couple of minutes, but we thought we'd take some more time to talk with Lisa Cripps-Downey, Berrien Community Foundation. And first off, one of the things is you love having Mike Weibel on the morning show. Is this right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good job, Mike.
How do you know Mike?
He is my work neighbor.
Oh.
Yeah, the Barrett is right next to
I know about
Berrien
this. He
Community
tries to
Foundation.
corrupt your dog all the time.
He does. He does. He will leave. I take the dog for a walk and he come back and there's little treats going to his office, but he's absolutely magical. He can pick up Donkey and he starts, he'll just start rubbing his chest and Donkey will fall asleep. He's got some kind of magic spell.
He's the dog whisperer.
Yes, absolutely the dog whisperer.
Yeah, the way he was telling me is, oh yeah, she's got this dog and she tries to keep it calm at work and everything. And then I get over there and I rile him up and he starts.
Yeah, he'll start. Well, so you can, what you can do is you can yell parkour, parkour, and he starts running all over the place. And that's his cue that he gets to go nuts. And so Mike comes over and yells parkour and Donkey starts taking off.
That sounds fun.
It is.
Parkour. Why parkour?
Because
are you a fan of The Office? Is that what
he's a puppy. He's 1 year old. He's just turned 1, so he's a little guy.
Okay.
And when he gets the zoomies, he would jump up and down and over on the couches and things like that at home. And so if he just needs to run it out a little bit, sometimes you yell parkour and he does all the things. But usually he's in training to be a therapy dog. I'm going to start working with here's a nonprofit, Best Friends 4-H Club in Berrien Springs. If your dog is there looking for more therapy dogs, anybody out there, we need more therapy dogs. And he's gone through all the training for his canine. He's a canine good citizen, AKC. Canine good citizen.
A canine good citizen.
But then you work with the folks at Best Friends 4-H Club, and they work with young people around the community, and then they go into places and bring therapy dogs. And so his official job, we call him our Chief Joy Officer, but he goes around and meets people and checks on everybody in the office.
You're melting my heart. That's amazing.
It's very, very nice.
So I think therapy dog, and I think, okay, teach the dog not to growl, not to bite. What is therapy dog training like? What is it actually?
So you go through your basic obedience training, right? So that he isn't a jerk, right?
Okay.
So you go through your basic obedience training, so he knows sit, stay, and all those kinds of things. And then canine good citizen, you have to get to where anybody can come up to him and they can pet him. You can brush him. And he's got to be able to do all of those things and know what kind of sense what he should or shouldn't do. And he just kind of, that seemed to be his personality.
Yeah. Was it hard to get him to be a good citizen?
You have to work with them.
Yeah.
But I worked with some folks in Watervliet, and now I'm working with the people in Berrien Springs, and we're starting to do that to do the therapy dog.
I can't wait to see that.
The Best Friends 4-H Club came to Rotary, St. Joe Benton Harbor Rotary last week. I was like, I didn't know this was a thing, and so I got to learn something. And awesome. And I'm a joiner, so hey, let's do this.
I love it. And Donkey does that. Dragon doesn't do that.
No.
Why doesn't Dragon do that?
Well, Dragon is 12, and Dragon has definite opinions about where she should or shouldn't be, and if she doesn't want to be somewhere, she's just not going. So
that's cute. So we've got a couple of minutes here before we get back on the air. Let's talk a little bit about Berrien Community Foundation 2024. What has the year been like? What are you proud of? What do you want to celebrate?
Well, I really get to celebrate. We hit 100 million in assets, which is really huge. That's been a big milestone. And that's, again, we've had a great market. We've also had really faithful donors and people who have worked with us. So that's very exciting. And one of the things, and your son,
yes,
was a scholarship recipient. This year,
Absolutely.
we gave over $500,000 in scholarships to our local students.
$500,000.
Isn't that incredible?
That really is.
And
that's awesome.
And I mean, those.
It makes a big difference.
It does when you're putting your kids through and trying to get, you so much want them to be able to get out with as little debt as possible. It's so expensive to go to school right now. You start looking at it $1,000 at a time. How do we make this happen? And so we're really able, and again, wonderful donors putting out scholarships, but over $500,000 in scholarships for our local students to go and pursue their educational dreams. It's great.
Going back just a couple of steps, how were you able to reach that $100 million in assets? And that's a huge number, but maybe compare that 10 years ago. Where was it, would you guess?
I can tell you exactly where it was. It was at 32 million.
32 million.
Yeah.
10 years ago, and now $100 million now. That's good work.
So
congratulations.
Well, thank you. But you think about people who are remembering their community, people who are wanting to give back to their community and doing it through the Community Foundation. And the Community Foundation, it was people sitting around a living room, right? Who said we should have a savings account for our community and be able to support this long term. And so we work through these endowments that can grow and give every year, year over year over year. And having those grow and invest in our community so that we have that ability to give every year and make that grow, people believing in that and giving to that started more than 70 years ago in a living room. And now it's grown to 100 million. And that's the community coming together and saying, we need to take care of our friends and neighbors.
I love that. All right. We're talking with Lisa Cripps-Downey. She's the president of the Berrien Community Foundation. We're going to talk some more about Berrien Community Foundation, what they're looking forward to in 2025, and what the environment is like out there for charities, for nonprofit organizations, for community foundations overall in this current environment. We'll talk about that in just a moment right here on WSJM.
Obsessed with European auto repair.
Cloudy skies today. Afternoon high temperatures around 32 degrees. We'll see a few flurries through the day, but it will be relatively quiet. The best chance for snow is going to be overnight tonight. And first thing tomorrow morning, we'll see an inch or two of snow from the system snow. Friday afternoon near 32. We will continue to see lake effect snow bands Friday afternoon, evening, and into Saturday morning. Near the lakeshore, we'll see a little bit higher amounts.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:48, and we're pleased to have a guest this morning in studio, Lisa Cripps-Downey, somebody who truly makes a difference in the community through her work at the Berrien Community Foundation. Thanks for joining us, Lisa. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and thanks for letting us talk about your dogs, Dragon and Donkey.
Dragon and Donkey.
That is fun. So if you've missed any part of that about their behavioral training and how they do parkour on a regular basis, we'll talk. You can just go back to the video archive of this show after it's done on Facebook or on YouTube and check it out. It's actually very good. I mean, you're trying to make the dog, at least one of your dogs, a good citizen. The other dog, they're too old to,
she doesn't want to be a good citizen.
Don't want to learn
no
new
interest
tricks.
in that.
Yeah,
right.
That kind of thing. We're talking about Berrien Community Foundation and how well you have done and all the good work that you do in the community. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about what the environment has been like for community foundations, for charities, for nonprofits overall in the last few years. It seems like since COVID, we've heard a lot of angst from that community about how difficult it is, how uncertainty has really driven a drop in what people are giving. What's the reality?
Sure.
What's happening out there?
I mean, you got to think in COVID, there were a lot of nonprofits, even whether it's an arts organization or a human service organization, a lot of what they do is that one-on-one.
Yes.
Or
right.
Right. It's about gathering, or working directly with, all of us, right? So COVID hit the nonprofits really hard, but man, were they creative and amazing to get through COVID. All the arts organizations just turn themselves inside out and upside down to continue to provide arts, to do what they do.
Yeah.
And the service sector just continued to serve. They just made it happen. I think since then we had a couple of other things happen. We had the change in the tax law,
Yes,
which made it so that more people were not as many people were itemizing their deductions, and so they maybe that charitable giving, it had to be a lot in order for it to make it worth it to itemize. And so a number of those donors, we saw our smaller donations really fall off for our nonprofit sector, and that's huge.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage everyone who, if there's an organization, and it doesn't matter if it's $20, if it's $50, if it's $100, whatever your gift is, looking at that nonprofit organization and knowing that that gift matters, and to remember our nonprofit sector in what they're doing and how they are serving our community. And it doesn't matter whether I love giving to a food pantry. I love giving to the Curious Kids Museum, or I love giving to the symphony, or whatever you love. Know that your gift matters, and that your support of that matters and is going to help them in the long run, because it does take an entire community to support all the things that make our community a really wonderful place to be.
Yeah. No, well said. Do you foresee any changes in the tax code, or are there proposals out there that you're following?
Well, I don't have my crystal ball on me. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Will we continue with where we're at? Are there going to be different changes? I think nonprofits are a little bit nervous about, are there going to be real huge cuts in state and federal spending, which really that's a big source of revenue for a lot of nonprofits. So state and federal grants, because what the state and federal government, they really partner with the nonprofits in a community to do some of the work that they want them to do, and they provide the grants to do that. And I think there's concern that those dollars are going to get cut.
Yeah. So keep giving the donations that you're giving. Keep thinking about ways that you can help in your community. And as far as Berrien Community Foundation goes, that you have a number of creative ways that people can get involved if they're interested in giving. You want to run through some of those vehicles?
Oh, sure. So we talked a little bit about scholarships.
Yes.
So we are always looking for people to come and be part of our grant review committees, our scholarship review committees. Some of the work that we're doing right now, all the senior care kits went out. We had community volunteers. So we're always looking for volunteers for that, for our backpack events when we're supporting those. So there's volunteering that you can do. You can do it at the Berrien Community Foundation. You can do it at a number of nonprofits. Are always looking for help.
Absolutely.
Right. And then there's, if you are a donor, we've got a number of ways that you can donate, of course, and any nonprofit is saying, sure, we can put those dollars to work. It's how we make our grants. That's how we are able to continue to thrive. This year, we've had some great work with our Women's Giving Circle, and that's a group of these incredible women. They come together and they kind of pool some money together, and they this year they did it was called Repair the Rift. It was trauma training and how trauma can impact you if you've had trauma as a child, as an adult, and how that makes you face the world. And we put together, there were 3 different training sessions, and then the organizations and the people that participated in that, we were able to do grants to help support some of the work that they were doing to address trauma and how people are addressing trauma in the community. So Women's Giving Circle is a great way to get involved. We're always talking to people as they are looking at, we talk about plans and ideas and what are things that, how do they want to change the world that we're in? And if you want to have that conversation and think what it's really, and as you're thinking about that, you ask yourself the questions: what do I want to see more of in the world? What do I want to see less of in the world? And then how do I do that? And one of the ways we talk with people a lot about life end giving.
Yes.
If you're making your estate plan and you're thinking, what is my charitable legacy that I want to leave, and how do I do that? And that those life end gifts can make such a difference in our community, and also create that legacy that continues to support the things that you love, that you've loved during your life, and you make that continue.
Yeah. And it's not just a one-time gift. It's something that keeps giving, because the Berrien Community Foundation is able to leverage that and create endowments.
Yes.
That just continue that legacy of somebody's beliefs.
Yeah. So our endowments, so we have our community endowment, which is what we get to make our grants out of, in different field of interest funds. But that an endowment, we take the dollars, we invest the dollars, we grow them, and the investments, the proceeds from those investments, that's what we make our grants out of. And so we get to do that year over year over year. Yeah. And so in about, depending on the market, in about 18 years, everything you've put in that endowment in the beginning has already paid out, and it's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. So those folks who sat in the living room 70 plus years ago, the dollars that they put in are still working for us right now.
That's
and
awesome.
Still supporting us.
Yeah. That's great. We're talking with Lisa Cripps-Downey, president of the Berrien Community Foundation. We're going to come back in just a moment and conclude this interview. If you missed any portion of it, you can check it out on Facebook and YouTube on the video live stream right now. We'll be right back.
Rich Brand and Tarek Halsey of IMS Insurance Management Service.
This is our behind the scenes. We have what, 30 more seconds? No, 40 more seconds.
40 more seconds.
Or something like that.
Now 35. 32.
The computer keeps changing. I don't know what's happening. No, you ready for the holidays?
I am.
Yeah?
I am. I'm very excited. Are you ready for the holidays? Have you done all the things?
I told you earlier that I had anxiety, so I have done all the things that I wanted to do. Well, no, I take that back. There's one thing that I still need to do. See, I've got,
Well, there's always one more thing.
There's always one more thing. So do that. We're going to take some time over the holiday break, basically, to travel a little bit. So my wife, Stephanie, and I are going to go and visit some place that we've not been before. So that'll be fun. And then also get to spend some time with the boys. So that'll be great. And do some more of this. I like doing this.
I do too.
This is good stuff.
I'm usually really nervous. So I've done theater at Twin City Players.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Are you in any current productions?
No.
Okay. Are you going to audition anytime soon?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But so I'm not nervous in front of people. I've done all sorts of really stupid things on stage, right? For whatever reason, radio, this microphone right here, is just it.
Are you nervous?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But not. I don't in front of just a crowd or something. Not nervous. This microphone, I don't know what it is.
I'm sorry.
Maybe it's my mouth sometimes just.
Well, it hasn't shown at all. You're doing great. This is wonderful. So, and we really appreciate you coming in and talking. And if you ever have anything that you want to say, we always welcome you back. Oh. And if you have anybody that you think would be good, let them know as well.
Okay.
Let's come back and conclude this interview. We'll have a short period of time. I miscalculated. So we'll be right back in just a moment right now. Okay. It's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:58. And I'm sorry, I didn't leave you much time.
That's okay.
We did okay?
Yeah.
With the interview this hour? Okay.
I had a good time.
Me too. This is good. And I got to learn about dogs doing parkour. Yeah. But for more information, if anybody wants to learn anything about Berrien Community Foundation, where can they go? How can they stay updated?
Well, you can always follow us on social media, go to the website, which is berriencommunity.org, or give us a call, 269-983-3304. We love to talk to people. Just stop in, man. We're friendly.
Excellent. And if they want to look at all the program work that you do and anything else, the website. So are you good on social media?
We are.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to check. We're going to look.
All right. No, we have somebody who just keeps us up. She's amazing.
Okay, very good. It is 7:59. We've got to get to ABC News here. Lisa Cripps-Downey is the president of Berrien Community Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to have you in the studio more often.
Oh, anytime.
All right, very good. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back in just a moment with local news. It's 8 o'clock.
From ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. A 20-year prison sentence for the man in France who arranged to have
Okay.
Get Kelly in here.
Kelly
Furneaux, right?
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Right?
Let's do that because
Kelly.
so how many members are on your Berrien Community Foundation board?
We have 12 board members.
12 board members, and one of them is Kelly Furneaux.
Yes.
Who's now the chief nuclear officer at Cook.
She's
I think
awesome.
I would love to have her in studio and talk about nuclear stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you mention it to her?
I will mention it to her.
Okay. Very good.
I'm actually
You know
going
people.
I am. I will actually see her tonight, and I'll say, Kelly, come on.
Do that. Okay. And don't tell her about the microphone thing, though.
I won't. I will tell her it's that this giant microphone in your face is not scary at all.
Did you know this? So this is an RE20.
Oh, an RE20, the good old RE20
from Electro Voice. And did you know that these used to be made? In fact, these might have in Buchanan.
In Buchanan.
You knew this.
My brother-in-law used to work there. He designed. He could have engineered and designed
these
the
very
good
microphones.
old RE20.
RE20. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
It's a classic broadcast microphone because it makes us sound so good. Like
okay.
Anyway, that's great. Well, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate you. Hang around for a couple of minutes. I'm going to get us into news here, and then we'll see everyone on the live stream tomorrow when my co-host Mike Weibel will be joining us, and I'll give him a bad time about parkouring the dogs.
Okay,
so that's coming up. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.